to Salzbug for our 2018 Ierc. We have 62 exhibitors downstairs, and I know the floor is already really busy. It's full. We have no spare spaces, so a lot of companies exhibiting downstairs.
And it's exactly the same in companies. Investment decisions are never taken in a cold, logical, hard, rigorous spreadsheet manner. No. They are taken because you feel good about it. And why do you feel good about it? Largely because everybody else is doing it. So we are, to use the financial terms, momentum investors. We go with the flow. The really weird people in the world are value investors. The people who say, no, I'm not going to do this because I've got my own brain.
In China, ecological civilization is much more meaning. It's beyond the ecosystem, but also including the political, the legislation, the society. So it's much more broad. Of course, it's also including circular economy. And circular development is one of part of ecological civilization.
Our honorary award winner today is one of the leading wise men in the recycling industry. And how did this happen? It's a combination of his experience and tenure in this industry, his character and his personality. On behalf of everybody here at the ICM team, the steering committee, it's a really great pleasure to invite Manfred Farner from Alba to the stage to receive the Ierc Award 2018.
So I, as a psychologist, when I talk about recycling, I always mean the behavior from consumer perspective. So why do people return their old electronic devices or why they don't?
Usually happens with a refurbished panel that it loses 5 to 10% of its capacity. So a 270 watt peak panel after refurbishment can still generate 245 watt peak panel.
I just want to talk about scaling it, because I think we're all comfortable with what it is, but what are we really doing with it and how are we moving? And I'm going to take you through what we've been doing about it and how we've been trying to scale the circular economy within our business, and also relate that to the context, the wider context of what's going on outside across the industry.
So we are building an underground deposit at this moment at Rönnskär. We have built it, it's 300 meters down. And this is where we will put the final waste, what we cannot refine anymore. We believe it's a long-term sustainable solution. The best part maybe is that we are really in control of this waste. We are in control of the whole chain. We don't need to sell it. We don't need to transport it. We can really store it at our site.
I don't know. I have many questions. Where did you learn to speak?
At school.
So who imports these things? Who imports the used computers? Who imports the used phones? Who imports the used fridges and all the electronics we use? It is these guys. These guys are the culprits. These are the brightest and some of the hardworking young men of Africa. For example, I used to be one of these guys. And I work on this, in these shops and work on these computers.
I think the challenge is for all of the countries at the end. The same in saying there are huge volumes out there. How do we treat those volumes in the right way? And it's always a mixture between reuse, which is a very positive element of giving the products a longer life. And on the other hand, how do we deal properly with the end-of-life products that really don't have the use anymore?
Actually, last year was the year of environment declared by the government, and the reason for that was quite simple. If we look at the amount of waste which Russia generates, it's quite substantial. It's 70 million tons annual household waste generated in Russia. Out of that, it's 1.2 million tons of e-waste.
See, this was also a big approach for him, that his Sorber material, the eddy current material, is separated into clean aluminum, and of course he wants to recover all the brass and all the copper and the heavy metals.
So when you look at 2014 relative to where we are in 2017, you've seen almost a 5-inch increase in the displays that are being sold. Additionally, you've seen a huge increase in the sale of TVs. I mean, it's basically flat now moving forward.
In the United States, there's a complete misrepresentation of recyclers. Unfortunately, everyone calls themselves a recycler in the United States, and they're not.
There are two other industry megatrends which I observe is pushing the industry towards adopting circular economy. One is, of course, as mentioned, the proliferation of Internet of Things, increasing the scale and connectivity of all devices.
going to be more infrastructure on, say, handling hazardous waste and so on? Do you see already some movement in Africa there?
Yes, and that movement has been pioneered by private investors and private institutions such as Enviroserve.
Fair one. You know, when you look to Canada in the north, they have a very robust WE-type compliance scheme across all of the provinces, and all of the population is affected. But then come south of the border, and it's haphazard at best. And currently, there's really no incentive to increase it any more than it is right now.
We will need some standardized and harmonized legal regulations which are, let's say, valid for every stakeholder on the market.
So actually for us, we through the funding to encourage the recycling activities, we do also have some other regulations such as encourage EPR system.
Yeah.
But this regulation is not so strong compared with WEEE regulation.
Thank you all for being here, and until next year.